It's Thursday, October 19th, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Joltz. Police have identified the man who drowned at Brandon's Beach this morning. He is Grenadian national media worker Rolling Ivor Jeremiah Williams of Husbands Heights in James. Lawmen say sometime around 7 o'clock this morning, the 45-year-old man was at the beach with his wife Carol when she got into difficulty. Rollin went into the water to rescue her, but he then experienced some difficulty. He was subsequently pulled from the water unresponsive and pronounced dead at the scene. In other news, the General Secretary of the Barbados Labour Party, Dr. Jerome Walcott, is suggesting that the BLP's Christchurch East Central candidate Ryan Strawn spoke out of turn when he hinted that the Transport Board bus system should be privatised. Speaking to the media this morning at a briefing to launch the party's 79th annual conference at their Robert Street headquarters, Walcott insisted that the economist was speaking as a technocrat. Delivering the 8th Tom Adams Memorial Lecture last week, the BLP's candidate had said the privatization of the Transport Board was the way to go and that government should leave the ownership of public transportation in private hands.
Ryan Strawn is an economist. He's a young politician. He's new to politics. He gave a lecture in which, not one that was edited and controlled by the party, but he was allowed to give a lecture in which he spoke about his vision for Barbados, how he saw things going, and he sees it in terms of a technocrat. He gave his perspective. He didn't say that the Transport Board should be privatized. I believe that was a bit of journalistic license in terms of interpreting what he actually said. Be that as it may, he gave his lecture, he gave his perspective. Comrade Jeffrey Bostic was asked, I believe, at the end of a meeting in terms of if this was a policy decision of the Barbados Labour Party. He was in fact correct. Policies of a political party, like the Barbados Labour Party, I don't know about the other parties, are formulated and discussed at the level of the parliamentary group, where all the individuals within that parliamentary group have an opportunity to express their concern, and the policy comes out of those deliberations.
Meantime, the Frundell-Stewart administration says it is not in support of the privatization of the state-owned Transport Board. The assurance came this afternoon from the chairman of committees in the House of Assembly, a member of the parliamentary group, James Paul. He contends that putting the board in the hands of private owners was akin to throwing poor people to the wolves. He was reacting to the opposition Barbados Labour Party's candidate Ryan Strawn's comments. Paul, the MP for Themichael West Central, told the press conference at the Democratic Labour Party's George Street headquarters this afternoon that he was surprised at Strawn's pronouncements.
Even in advanced countries, it is recognized that state transportation still has to play a role. It might be modified, but it still has to play a role. But to let a key activity in the country, a key factor that facilitates economic development, that helps to transport people, to give that over to private speculation, suggests that we are giving up on our people, that basically the main rudiments of development that is there, that will help facilitate development in the country, we are giving up on it, and we are leaving private enterprise to take charge. We cannot support these type of things.
Predial larceny remains a major headache for farmers, and the head of the Food and Agricultural Organization's sub-regional office in the Caribbean, Mr. Fletcher Paul, is urging regional governments to do more to arrest the problem. She has told a workshop hosted by the Ministry of Agriculture today that predial larceny is being driven by the demand for more food, and regional governments have to find a comprehensive plan to address the situation.
All of these measures to me are treating the symptom rather than the root cause of predial larceny. The root cause of predial larceny is poverty, inequality. People who don't have and people who don't have, and people who have and they want it, and they're not willing to work for it. But also, there's another key root cause, I think, and that is basic dishonesty. The 8th commandment talks about thou shalt not steal, and the 10th commandment, thou shalt not covet. There's basic dishonesty and lack of integrity of the people who purchase these items as well. So it's not only, dealing with radio larceny is not only the responsibility of the government or the police. It's everybody's responsibility to say, if you know the goods are stolen, you will not buy. And if you, and as our colleague we were talking about, if you are a farmer and you figure out, or if you're a person and you want food, you should not steal. It's everybody's responsibility.
Earlier this week, a Christchurch man was fined $1,000 for stealing 80 pounds of cassava. The Chief Agricultural Officer, Lennox Chandler, served notice this morning that stiffer penalties will be coming in a revised agricultural legislation that is ready to go before the Cabinet of Barbados.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, touching one community at a time.
Turning to the region, there's a promise that the Caribbean will have support from the Royal Fleet Auxiliary Mounts Bay if and when necessary for the rest of the hurricane season. The vessel has been in the region lending assistance to hurricane-ravaged Anguilla and the British Virgin Islands following the passage of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. The commitment is coming from the vessel's captain, Stephen Norris. He says the team, comprising members of the Royal Navy, will also be conducting counter-narcotics exercises in the region. We hear more in this TV6 report.
It's customary for Britain to have a ship in the region to lend assistance if needed to Caribbean territories, especially those where the Queen is still head of state. And Captain Stephen Norris says the RFA team, which is in Trinidad on a short break, stands committed and ready to help.
We're loading more disaster relief stores and resetting ourselves for the remainder of the hurricane season, which, as you know, is another 4 weeks approximately to go. So we haven't moved too far away. We're here. We're ready should we be called upon for any further assistance.
He says the RFA team, which visited Dominica a week ago, was able to reach a lot of communities which were cut off, getting relief supplies in and providing some sort of stability.
So we left them in a good state. Clearly there's a lot more work to do, and there's lots of agencies in there now assisting Dominica get back on her feet.
Captain Norris refers to the devastation he witnessed caused by hurricanes Irma and Maria as unprecedented. And although he feels the islands did put things in place in preparation for the storms, he says telecommunications systems should be looked at more closely.
We focus now internationally, where Spain will start to suspend Catalonia's autonomy from this Saturday. This as the region's leader threatens to declare independence. The government says ministers will meet to activate Article 155 of the Constitution, allowing it to take over running of the region. Catalonia's leader said the region's parliament will vote on independence if Spain continued repression. Catalans voted to secede in a referendum outlawed by Spain. Spain's Supreme Court has declared the vote illegal and says it violates the Constitution, which describes the country as indivisible. And that's the news, but for the very latest, check out our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for more. I'm Ryan Gills. Glad you could join us.